Hello and good afternoon. My name is Dr. Sterling Mackinnon, and I'm a postdoctoral researcher here at Oxford School of Geography and the Environment.
And I'm Dr. Katrin Wilhelm, and I'm also a postdoc at the school, and together we are members of the Oxford Resilient Buildings and Landscapes Lab.
We wish so much that we could be in person with you today, meeting you all and presenting to you. However, as luck would have it, we're both going to be abroad, working with Oxford undergraduate students on their spring field trips. And in many cases, we're going to be testing out and developing some of the approaches and methodologies we're going to talk to you about today.
And so I'm really excited to take the lab in your pocket to the Mount Teide crater, a volcano on Tenerife, and testing some of the methods we have developed over the last half year.
And I am going to be working with students in and around Berlin, exploring how the use of social media platforms like Instagram shape and change the way that we engage with public art.
I wish I was on your field trip.
And I wish I was climbing up a volcano. In many ways, the lab in your pocket testbed started right here, where we're standing right now, on Broad Street in central Oxford. And looming above us are the notorious Sheldonian heads, stone guardians of both the Sheldonian Theatre and the Oxford History of Science Museum. These anonymous, bearded Goliath philosopher types have been here since 1668, 2 years before the Great London Fire. Though the busts that stand here now are the third iteration of these statues and were sculpted in 1972.
In the summer of 2019, I began the Tomorrow's Oxford Heads project, a public engagement and research intervention which explored and challenged notions of representation and diversity in public art and urban heritage spaces. The project not only resolved in the production of new temporary art interventions, as in busts depicting both female figures and people of color, but in staging an opportunity to directly ask the public about who and what they would like to see depicted in these historic spaces. This was facilitated using a 3-meter tall head-like bust to which pedestrians could attach pink sheets with names, drawings, and other suggestions.
The activity transformed Broad Street into a vibrant community workshop and laboratory, where the interchange between participants and sculpture reconfigured this unique historic environment as a dynamic site of community learning and communication.
So the Lab in Your Pocket project seeks to build upon the pink head experiments by making it digital, and by making it digital, render it scalable across a great number of heritage sites and spaces.
Our testbed is divided into 2 strands. One which addresses the untapped potential for formalizing research methods around mobile technologies in higher education, and another which looks towards developing citizen science tools for diversifying public heritage spaces through digital engagements.
The Lab in Your Pocket is both interested in situating heritage sites and historic environments within the increasingly pervasive discourse around smart urban infrastructure, and how digital mediations of such spaces can encourage mobile tech users to investigate and explore urban heritage environments, both as active ecosystems and sites of diversity.
We define laboratories as spaces where participants, both scientists and the public, can co-create, experience, investigate, experiment, and reflect. To put the lab in the pocket, then, is to enable users to create temporary and site-specific spaces of investigation through mobile digital tools.
Furthermore, our project utilizes the latent digital literacy of the public to imagine new forums for science communication, both in the context of the academy, but also in the context of citizen science, across a range of potential fields and disciplines.
We have organized the first phase of our project into 3 stages. The first was the conceptualization stage. Here, we not only refined and reframed our understandings of both laboratories and urban heritage spaces, but began assembling a comprehensive literature review for our project and developing a long-term strategy and scope for the project beyond its initial remit.
Now we are in the middle of the second stage, which focuses on the development of our digital tool and interface. Collaborating both with developers from Black Shark Co-op and project officers at AWS, we have defined our target audience, refined the concept of the tool's user interface, and thought carefully about how our tool might produce dynamic, varied, and unexpected data sets.
The third stage will be centered around a pilot study of our digital prototype, assessing user experience, evaluating our projected impact, and disseminating our findings and scoping out future funding streams.
But now we think it would be most exciting to show you what we've already come up with.
Returning again to the Broad Street heads, the Lab in Your Pocket prototype is designed for projected users walking past the Museum of Science and the Sheldonian Theatre. Here, after scanning a QR placard, they will first be taken to the Lab in Your Pocket website on their mobile device, where they'll be further prompted to begin using the digital tool, which we have provisionally named palimpsest. A palimpsest refers to anything that has been reused or altered, yet still bears visible traces of its earlier forms and uses. Palimpsests are found in written documents, in paintings, in urban built environments, and in nature.
From beginning to end, we are imagining the average user experience to last a duration of 90 to 120 seconds. They will begin by selecting any color they choose from a screen-wide palette. And then next they will be asked to submit a text-based response to the question, how did you get here? A deliberately vague prompt capable of eliciting responses ranging from the Great Western Railway to white privilege.
They will then be prompted to use their phone camera with a similarly vague command of show me something unexpected, one which encourages users to explore the site with more focused intentions. Once the user has generated their image, they will then have the opportunity to review images previously submitted by other users, indicating what aspects of their experience exploring the Broad Street heads overlaps with other Lab in Your Pocket users, or not, thus adding another level of surprise. Finally, they will then again be prompted to select another color, much as they had at the beginning.
The palimpsest tool for Lab in Your Pocket has two distinct user outputs. The first of these will be that the user submissions will be collated as a single data entry that will then be visualized as a point in the 3D point cloud of one of the Sheldonian heads. As more and more users engage with the application, the more vivid the visualization of the heads will become. These point clouds will be visual souvenirs of a user's engagement, tokens of how their unique exploration of the heads also make up the modern urban heritage environments of Broad Street.
The second output will be an opportunity for Lab in Your Pocket users to visually analyze the relationships between the data they have submitted and the data submitted by previous users. Using UMAP technology, a nonlinear dimension reduction algorithm, users can visualize the correspondence between previous submissions around parameters such as date, time, color, their text-based responses, and the similarities in the images they volunteered.
The value for this data is ranging as is the core technology's potential applications beyond the initial test site of Broad Street. The palimpsest tool has been designed in order to provide an active, dynamic, and constantly changing picture of how heritage spaces are composed.
For social scientists, the datasets produced through the future Lab in Your Pocket sites could provide critical insight into how contested heritage spaces, such as those related to projects of decolonization, for example, are received and viewed by diverse communities.
On the other hand, in the natural sciences, the Lab in Your Pocket app could function as a platform where citizen scientists can explore and document built heritage spaces as sites of biodiversity.
There are also distinct applications for the Lab in Your Pocket well beyond academia. For example, the data has projected uses in information modeling for urban environments, particularly around large-scale projects that situate heritage sites and monuments within efforts of urban regeneration.
At this stage of the project, a range of our collaborators, such as Blenheim Palace, the authorities in Petra, in Jordan, as well as the Biolabs team with connections to other universities in the UK, have invited us to employ the Lab in Your Pocket at their sites and thus help us moving this project into the next larger scale.
So, while still in early stages of prototyping, we can already sense just how fruitful a continued collaboration with Amazon Web Services will be. Whether it's matters of back-end data storage, the immense scalability of cloud computing, the unique potential of Internet of Things for site-based heritage interventions, or the promise of language processing tools for commuting the Lab in Your Pocket to sites beyond the United Kingdom, the growth and potential of our project will depend on key partnerships with stakeholders such as yourself. Would be thrilled to discuss the possibilities sometime in the near future. Thank you.